Do you find yourself staring at the ceiling at 3 a.m., exhausted, yet forced out of bed by an urgent, undeniable need to urinate? You look at the clock, calculate how few hours of rest you have left, and ask yourself that quiet, nagging question in the back of your mind. Is this just a normal part of getting older? Or is my body silently signaling a more serious problem? If this sounds familiar, I want you to know you are not alone. Millions of men accept this nightly disruption as inevitable. But the real danger isn't just the act of urinating, it is the fragmented sleep. When your rest is broken night after night, your body cannot properly recover, your mental clarity fades, your testosterone levels drop, and your overall health quietly deteriorates without you even realizing it. But here's the truth that many doctors overlook. Before you blame your prostate size or rush to start a lifetime of medication, you simply must look at your evening routine. In this video, speaking from the perspective of a urologist, I am going to reveal the specific evening habits that are secretly sabotaging your bladder. I am not talking about complex surgeries or heavy prescriptions with endless side effects. I am talking about simple, science-backed adjustments to what you do between dinner and bedtime. Small behaviors that most men are unknowingly getting wrong. If you are ready to stop the nightly disruption and finally reclaim your energy, you are in the exact right place. Please subscribe so you don't miss the tools to control your health, and let's get straight to the first common mistake, one that seems harmless but is likely waking you up every single night. There is a massive misconception that I need to clear up immediately. Waking up to urinate is not simply because you drank too much water. If that were true, ask yourself this. Why can you sit through a long meeting or a movie during the day without an issue, yet the moment you lie down at night, you are waking up 2 or 3 times? The answer lies in a biological shift that often goes unnoticed. As you age, your bladder loses its elasticity. It becomes rigid and more sensitive, sending urgent signals to your brain that it is full, when in reality, it is barely half empty. This sensation is startlingly familiar. You've only been asleep for an hour, and suddenly a sharp, demanding urge pulls you out of deep sleep, impossible to ignore. Naturally, many men start to panic, wondering if their kidneys are failing or if their body is rapidly declining. But here's the surprise. In the vast majority of cases, this isn't starting with a catastrophic disease. It begins with specific evening habits repeated year after year, lifestyle choices that unintentionally irritate this sensitive organ. And be warned, if these habits don't change, the number of nightly awakenings rarely stays at one. It compounds. So, what are these innocent-looking behaviors that are quietly destroying your rest? The answer might force you to take a hard look at exactly how you spend your evenings. Let's begin with the most widespread mistake, the hydration trap. We live in a culture obsessed with staying hydrated, and many men believe that drinking a tall glass of water in the evening is strictly good for health. But here's the urological reality. Consuming fluids within 2 hours of bedtime doesn't flush out toxins. It floods your bladder. When you lie down, your kidneys naturally filter blood faster, and that extra water guarantees you will wake up sooner than you expect. But it gets worse. It's not just about volume, it's about what you are drinking. That relaxing evening tea, that dinner coffee, or the nightcap alcohol, these are not soothing drinks. They are powerful diuretics. They irritate the bladder lining and force your kidneys to produce urine at double the normal rate. For a sensitive prostate, even a small amount is enough to trigger an all-night marathon to the bathroom. The danger is that most men never connect the dots. They shrug and say, well, that's just getting older. But I want you to ask yourself a critical question right now. If your evening habits are essentially training your bladder to wake up every night, what will your sleep look like in 5 years if you don't stop? You're inadvertently programming your body for fragmentation. However, fluid intake is only the obvious culprit. There is another invisible factor, one hiding in your dinner plate that surprises people even more than water. This brings us to a phenomenon that shocks most of my patients, the hidden reservoir. You might stop drinking water at 6 p.m., yet you still produce copious amounts of urine at 2 a.m. Why? Because that fluid isn't coming from your stomach, it is coming from your legs. Throughout the day, gravity pulls fluid down, causing it to accumulate in your ankles and calves, especially if you have heart issues, diabetes, or mild swelling. The moment you lie flat to sleep, gravity is neutralized, and all that trapped fluid rushes back into your bloodstream to be filtered by the kidneys. It's a biological flood. Furthermore, a critical mistake I see constantly is men taking their diuretic medication, their water pills, at dinner. This is accidental self-sabotage. You are literally prescribing yourself a sleepless night. The emotional turning point is realizing that you are fighting a losing battle. You try to restrict water, you try to hold it, but the source is deep within your tissues. Ignoring this mechanism leads to exhausted mornings and declining health. But let's say the urge strikes anyway. Is there a way to stop it in its tracks? The answer is yes. In the next section, I will teach you a specific technique to control the bladder spasm, one that very few men are ever properly taught. Here's a physiological truth that changes everything. Urgency is a wave, not a command. When that sharp need to urinate strikes at 2 a.m., your instinct is to bolt out of bed immediately. But medically speaking, this panic reaction actually makes the bladder spasms worse. You need to know that the sensation of urgency is often a false alarm from hypersensitive nerves, and if you don't react instantly, it will settle down. We call this urge suppression. Instead of rushing to the bathroom, which reinforces the bad habit, you can use specific calming techniques to ride out the wave. This isn't just about willpower, it is about rewiring the communication between your brain and your bladder. Clinical studies confirm that by consistently practicing these suppression techniques, patients often eliminate at least one bathroom trip per night within a few months. That might sound minor, but gaining 90 minutes of uninterrupted deep sleep is the difference between waking up foggy and waking up recharged. So I want you to ask yourself, if you could reclaim that sleep simply by changing how you respond to the urge, why would you choose to keep suffering? Mastering this mental control is powerful. But to fully protect your nights, we need to combine it with the final piece of the puzzle, the practical summary that ties everything together. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. Nighttime urination is not just a nuisance, it is a silent thief. It steals your rest, drains your memory, shortens your temper, and leaves you wondering why you feel older than you actually are. But I refuse to let you accept this as the inevitable fate of aging. It is not. As we have discussed, by simply understanding the hydration trap, managing the fluid in your legs, and learning to ride out the urgency wave, you can turn the tide. I have seen countless men reclaim their sleep and, with it, their vitality. A full night of rest might not turn back the clock to your 20s, but it will make you sharper, calmer, and healthier every single day. Now, if this video helped you recognize a pattern in your own life, please stay with this channel because we are just scratching the surface. In my next video, I am going to reveal the specific red flags, the subtle warning signs that indicate your nighttime urination is not just a habit, but a symptom of something more serious like heart trouble or severe obstruction. These are signals many men overlook until it is too late. You need to know when to try lifestyle changes and when you truly need to see a doctor. So hit subscribe, protect your health, and I will see you in the next video.